Yeah, a long way from a stuttering kid. I didn't get enough love.
All right, hello and welcome to the How Men Cry podcast. This is a special edition of Box It Out, where essentially we throw some hands and then talk about feelings and such. The How Men Cry campaign and initiative is aimed at getting 1,000 men to talk about vulnerability and mental health. And today here with me is the good homie and friend.
W.E.O. Eat well, baby.
Eat well. Oh, well, I was gonna point to your shirt, but you put a hoodie on over it. There it is.
Flashing out.
Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one, y'all. No, man. Well, I mean, we go back, man. You're one of my good friends that I've known since I've been here in Chicago, and I'll let you do the intro yourself. But I do have to say, amazing lyricist, amazing martial artist, amazing stand-up, well-read gentleman. I gotta pump you up a little bit. But who are you, man? How would you introduce yourself?
I appreciate that one, bro. You know, people don't say that type of stuff.
It's real though, man. You got a lot of wisdom, like straight up, and we talk about it all the time. But you really do, man.
I be chilling, bro. But all of what you just said, basically. Like, I hate talking about myself. But like,
welcome.
Welcome to the shit. Like I'm basically that, just a person that I'm a prepper, basically just a person that is just in that realm of things. Like, I just like to do that. I'm an armed guard. I've been doing security for a long time. That's just like my profession. That's what I like doing. That's something I'm good at. That's what I do, and yeah, just a variety of just training that makes you prepared for the crazy situations that may come along in today's, times and society and things like that. But yeah, that's me, bro. I be chilling, man. I'm a poet, spoken word artist. I be rapping, make beats. I do like a lot of different things, I draw. A lot of people don't know that I draw.
That one I don't think I knew that. Maybe you did tell me.
I actually drew the Eat Well logo.
Yeah, I think I think you did. I think you did tell me that, actually. Maybe that's where I know that from.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember we got a buried Eat Well track under there from like a minute ago.
We do. We gotta put it out.
I don't even know I gotta find it on my laptop.
You gotta find it and recreate it.
So, man, one, we were throwing hands and such today. How do you relate to martial arts in general, or just fighting in general? How has that practice influenced you?
So I started doing martial arts young, and the reason why I started doing it was basically just to one, get my anger out, two, to just prepare myself for crazy situations, because a lot of the places I came up in were, for lack of better terms, just kind of, just not nice places. They was hostile. So it's like, how you walk through a block and people just, they mess with you because they might not know you like that, or they might know you, but they might want to, just get at you for whatever reason. Like, I just started doing it just so, if a person came up and said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, I could deal with them the right way. You feel me? So,
now, do you in that question, because that's I love that breakdown, because I think there's there's this interesting combination of like, I felt somewhat pressure at different points in life, whether it was from social pressure or whether it was from like the circumstance you're talking about, to have to know how to defend yourself and fight and all of that. Do you feel like that's forced more so because basically because you're a man? Like, do you feel extra pressure to have to be able to defend or to be able to protect or guard or something like that? Or do you feel like, I don't know, just give me your take on it. Do you feel like you had extra pressure to have to know how to defend yourself?
Ultimately, yeah, because one, I was never really small, so I was always kind of like that fat kid that, you know, they got like the jokes, you know, the you fat as hell, ooh, all that extra shit. Like people used to always like kind of had a joke, so it was like, all right, you got the jokes. Now I got to learn how to roast because you frying me, so now I got to fry you back. So now I got to do that, but then you get to a point to where, you know, some people are roasting and they get mad when you roast them back. Now it's like, okay,
now it ain't funny no more.
You feel me? And now I got the mouthpiece, but now I got to put the hands to the mouthpiece because it's like, now, you know, you mad because you wanted to just make fun of me and make yourself feel better about yourself because you was making fun of me. And now I got something to say and I can defend myself. But now you mad and you want to take it to another level. So now I got to put hands to you because it's like, you know, you really mad, you know. So it's like
big mad.
Yeah, big mad. So it just took me to a point to where it was like, okay, if I gotta know how to defend myself verbally, I gotta know how to attack and defend verbally.
Yeah.
And I also gotta know how to do it physically.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you gotta learn how to do that shit spiritually too in other ways. It's just like life ends up being a war at times. And it'd be like, it fucked up that it's like that, but you just kind of got to be prepared for shit like that because you either gonna be prey or you gonna be the fucking predator, and either you got to choose like which one you gonna be, and that's just what it is.
So that brings me to one of the major threads of questions is, so do you feel like how would you define the word vulnerability, and then how do you relate to the word vulnerability, kind of given some of the context of what you were mentioning? And maybe to add a little bit of background is, I feel like vulnerability as a topic overall can be complicated for men, especially depending on the circumstances of where you are sometimes. You know, so just to circle back, you know, how do you feel about that word, and then how do you relate to it in your day to day?
For me, vulnerability is basically just being not able to do whatever you feel your purpose is. Like for me, I feel like my purpose here on earth is to help motherfuckers. So whenever I cannot help people, that is like a vulnerable time for me. Where it's like, you know, like you get to a point to where it's like I feel like one of a man's just priorities is to be a servant. So it's like for me, if I can't serve, if I can't help a motherfucker, then it's like I'm down and out. Like it's like I don't feel like a man when I can't help motherfuckers. And generally it's like if I'm ever like that, it's because I'm fucked up financially, I'm fucked up physically, I'm fucked up in some type of way. Because either like it don't like man, like even if I'm fucked up like that, I'm still trying to help motherfuckers. But like,
see, that's interesting though, because your spin on it is like yours is rooted in being able to help or kind of like provide or assist to others, where I feel like sometimes I don't know, like it's almost a different response, I think, that I hear like towards men, towards vulnerability, where like yours is rooted in a feeling of, oh, actually, if I can't provide enough care, then that, you know, brings you to a place of like, oh, you know, maybe not feeling whole or feeling complete. So yeah, that's fascinating because that's excuse me, because you're leading more from like a selfless place about that.
yeah, I've always my biggest like feat in life was trying to find a word that can describe the literal middle part of being selfless.
To cut that part. I started coughing and shit in my back.
My biggest kind of feat in life is like trying to find the difference not the difference, but the middle ground between selfless and selfish. So there is literally no word that I have found in the English language that can describe the utter middle between selfless and selfish.
Huh.
There is literally no word that can describe that. Well, like the balance of both.
Yeah, that's the closest I was gonna say is the general word balance. That's the closest thing that came to mind.
But that ain't the word though. It still ain't the word.
So what?
There is no word that exists like that.
Yeah.
For a
I
reason.
wonder. I think I wonder even. I've been reading a lot of like Buddhist texts recently, and I kind of I don't know if I would necessarily pull a word from it because I don't want to misquote anything. But that battle is definitely present constantly, and I think it's kind of hard to navigate where you fall in it. To be honest, that's something I literally deal with on a day-to-day basis. Is trying to figure out because essentially it's how to show up in the world is basically so do you feel now how do you feel like something like vulnerability shows up in your relationships? And that can be, romantic relationships and friendships. He only laughing because, this girl sitting right there. So I'm definitely going to put him on blast for this.
She's
one.
trying to act like she ain't listening to it. Look.
But no, I mean, how do you feel like vulnerability, or at least your relation to that, shows up in an intimate relationship, and then maybe beyond that?
I've had times where I feel like I couldn't. I was down and out and didn't have shit, and I couldn't put nothing really to the relationship. Like, couldn't add nothing financially, or even sometimes felt not to be enough physically. Like maybe I'm not pleasing her, or things like that. Like I feel like every man has felt like that in his life.
Yeah,
because you can't please every woman. and if you had enough to know, you had enough to know that. But you can't please every woman you come into contact with, no matter how you are in any realm. You can't.
Yeah.
So it's like I've felt, just the lack of being able to do certain things. Like fucked up financially, lost a job. Had a time where it was like, okay, I had an ex who, I was in a relationship, and it was like, okay, everything was good when I had my job, everything I had a car, everything was decent. And then the second I lost my job, I lost my girl.
yeah.
And it's
rough.
just like, it's, life is like that. So it's like, some
that's
people
rough.
focus on the financial aspect of things, which rightfully so, because when you're not financially stable in a certain things, that especially at our age, it's like it kind of clues in other things, and it sets up the stage for shit to just kind of be fucked up in the future. So I feel like, I just situations like that, just fucked up financially or fucked up spiritually, to where I cannot provide or be equally yoked to the person that I'm with. I had a girl who was just straight devout Christian, and I am Christian myself, but I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't just straight like that. You feel me? I'm not a priest or nothing. You feel me? She was like almost trying to be, you know what I'm saying, high ranking church member, and I'm like, nah, that ain't me. And I had to kind of lead that because she was kind of forcing me to be like that, and I was like, that ain't. I grew up in the church, so it's like different. Like I've been doing this my whole life. You just thought.
Yeah,
like you
new to that. Just wait till that wear off a little bit,
right? And it just like that was just like, no, hell no. And then it was like, so I cover financially, spiritually, and then you got women who you just not sexually like
compatible with.
Yeah, you know, I've had motherfuckers who just blow me the fuck out, to be honest. So it's like, damn, like, okay, this is not cool no more. You're a face.
I need a break. I need a break.
Right, I'm gonna let you deal.
I'm tapping out
with your desires, because your desires is a bit much, and I ain't on the same level. But then I've also had people whose level wasn't.
Who felt that way,
you know. And I was that person in that situation. Yeah. So it's just like, you know, shit that everybody go through. You feel everybody kind of go through that type of shit. But yeah, like, you feel vulnerable in them situations because you're not enough. You cannot help a person achieve the satisfaction that they need in those situations. So
you feel like that's hurtful for you? Like when that happens, do you think that is that causing, I guess, how do you deal with that feeling that the vulnerability brings? Like how do you address it or heal it within yourself?
I used to care about it, but now I don't. Like I used to.
What do you mean?
I used to give a fuck about that. Like, but it used to fuck my ego up until like I thought I started dealing with my ego and shit like that. When I started dealing with ego, then that's when it's like, you know, that shit started not to affect me like that, because it was just like, all right, like, check your motherfucking ego in the door. You ain't gonna be able to do this for everybody. You ain't gonna be able to do it. You can't save everybody. You can't do this and do all that. You can't help everybody. Some people ain't meant for you to be helped. That shit will fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta, like, I mean, just knowing that you not that absolute nigga.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, at all. Like, when you notice that type of shit, it's just like your ego just goes from here to like, okay, damn, like I ain't, you know.
Do you feel like that was a difficult process to kind of realize what was going on with the ego? Because, like, for instance, I know something from personal experience has happened is like, once I stopped clinging to things that were a lot more ego driven, and I'm still working through that whole process, but like walking back from ego driven behaviors to a point of like, oh, you know, all of that is to some extent, you know, a facade, or just not like, or not the real you, you know. It's taken a while to, I would basically say, kind of to find myself within that like deeper version of myself, and then trying to move through the world in that way. Do you feel like you had to go through like a recovery period almost of like, oh, that's all ego and this is like will as will really is, you know? Like, do you feel like that was a transition process? And if so, what was that like?
I had to get my ass treated a couple times. I love it. Was like, no, boy, that shit ain't it. Like, I got treated a couple times. You feel me? It's just like the look at certain people's faces and shit. Like when you go through certain situations and they just look at you like, this ain't it. Like that look. Oh, that shit used to kill me, bro. Like just going through situations and seeing that effect in people.
Yeah,
like that effect you make on people, it's like that made me change a lot of shit. And then also just times of me sitting in the crib and being like what the fuck is wrong with me to where I can't achieve this with, you know, people around me, or I can't achieve this within myself, within my own life, or whatever. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And then looking at that shit, self-reflecting, and even testing out different shit on motherfuckers. Like, if I do this to you, what are you going, you know what I'm saying, do? Like, what shit? Like, testing my social, you feel me? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? The way you move through just like the social realm. Like, just testing different things. Like, and it really was a process of how can I be myself as healthily as possible in this world, and also fulfill what I feel like my purpose is.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that takes a lot of awareness and a lot of reflection, I think, to get there, honestly. Switching gears a little bit. So what's your What's your relationship to tears, my good man?
Man, I cried the other day. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But like, it's just my own girl looking at me right now. I cried to her.
No, I mean for real though, because
Oh,
I think
God.
it's a conversation. I find. I mean, the answers. There's truly a range of I think men's connection to crying or showing or vulnerability in that way. Do you feel like you grew up with examples of men being able to cry or show those type of feelings, or or how do you feel about crying?
I don't cry. I can count on my hand the number of times that I cry. Yeah, and it's not even no like that's not no ego shit. That's not no just trying to make people think I'm tough type shit. None of that shit. It's like as a man in today's society, we literally have to plan to cry. Like
What you
like
you gotta,
we can't
you gotta
just
fit it into the calendar.
can't just be right. You like, and that's what I be doing. Like I literally will be at work and it'd be like months that go past and I just don't cry no type of shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself like, I'm gonna cry today. And I schedule this shit. Like I be like, when I get home,
That is
matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the liquor store first because I know I got a whole other process to make myself cry. Yeah, that's so funny. It's so
walk
funny
me
to
through
me.
this process.
Nah, like I go to the liquor store because I can't cry without like being like drunk.
Why? Why do you feel like? Why you feel like that is?
Because
when
when I'm drunk, it makes me feel my emotions way deeper.
Well, I will say, everybody probably has made a drunk call or two. I don't drink no more, but everybody's probably made a drunk call or two.
Yeah.
Talk about all their feelings.
Well, I call my mama all the time. When I'm drunk, she's the only person that's gonna listen to me. My mama would sit there and be like, okay, baby, here goes some Bible scriptures. My mama would sit there and listen to me. My mama and my girl are the only people that's gonna sit there and listen to me like that.
I'll listen to you.
Oh God.
I'll listen to you. Nah, but okay. But so through that process though, do you feel like that is healing for you though? Like why do you feel like it's necessary for you to cry?
Because you gotta get all that shit out, man. I be tight. You feel me? I mean, whoo, mad as hell. Like, oh my God, it'd be shit that you can't change. It'd be shit that, like, the vulnerability thing, you be vulnerable because it'd be shit that you can't change that be fucking with you. That is like, damn, I don't have no type of, control or anything. Mm-hmm. Usually, if I, go through some shit, if I gotta get out of it, I'm gonna get to it, get the fuck out of it, get through, deal with that shit, woo. But like, when you can't, it's like, damn, you ain't got no other choice but to go through this shit. It's like when you cry, you let that shit out. It's like, damn, I could let this shit out and just get all this feeling out and then just go through this shit and be okay. Like, you feel me? Like, I got a whole process. I go to the liquor store, give me a motherfucking fifth for Amsterdam. Don't judge me because that shit cheap. I be trying to save money, but it's a decent little vodka though. I give me some Amsterdam and then I'll pull me a cup. I sit there, I drink my little drink. Probably give me a vape or something to smoke or whatever. I drink and I smoke and let my little feelings. I got a playlist, G. I got a playlist on YouTube that I made. It's called my crime playlist.
Yo,
like crime. It's got everything that I make as a playlist has shit after it. So it'd be like crime shit, smoking shit, baby maker shit, quarantine baby maker. You know what I'm saying? Like I got like all this type of shit, like, and it's called crime shit. So I got a playlist and I listen to that. And I just boo-hoo, shorty. Like,
you just let it go.
I be letting it go. Man, ugly cry to
it.
Boo-hoo.
Honestly, man, it's honestly really, really dope to hear because I feel like a lot of like in the most extreme scenarios, the narratives are not, for men to have that type of connection or even that like ability. Because I remember honestly before the first time or times that I really cried on stage, like or in my earlier points of like college, whatever else, when I really hadn't cried in years, it happened on stage. It happened during performance, and it was like performance of like real topics or spoken word pieces or something like that, and I think the narratives don't necessarily always support, in general, like guys being able to express or have those moments to be like, yo, this is hurting for whatever reason, and I gotta like let this out or have these moments. So it's honestly really, really cool that you even have a process to it, which I think makes it that much deeper, because that takes so much awareness, you know, to be able to be like, yo, I'm at a point right now, or I'm breaking or something like that. And ideally we kind of let it out while things are going on. But one thing I wanted to circle back around to what you said is like, you said it's almost like we have to schedule it in. Do you feel like there is more pressure? I don't want to say more. Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on men to show up in certain ways so consistently that it makes it like difficult for us to even have those moments to actually provide self-care? Because that's something that I feel like I kind of run with. And I feel like crying is self-care to me. But like sometimes I feel like the busyness or the expected hustle makes it difficult to even have, you know, those moments to like let things out.
Yeah, because I ain't even gonna lie. Like one time I can pinpoint when I was in my grandma dad, right? And she dad, basically we all was in the same house. And I spent a lot of her last moments just kind of sitting on the floor watching her.
Yeah.
And like I'm on the floor sitting watching her, like she in the chair like right here. And I'm just watching her struggle to stay alive. And I'm just like, damn, this shit is wild.
Yeah.
And by that time, everybody else was kind of asleep. So it was just like, I was just sitting there watching her like, wow, I can't help it. It ain't nothing I could do. And it was just kind of wild because like my grandma used to always tell me, like, I used to be like, Grandma, I used to see her in pain all the time. I'd be like, man, what's wrong? Like, and I that's why I be hating, like if I ask somebody what's going on and you say like nothing, like that shit be triggering me, because I'd be like, my grandma used to say that shit all the time. She'd be like, yeah, I'm okay, nothing is wrong, I'm all right, nothing is wrong. And she used to say that shit all the time, and she ended up dying. She like right there in front of us. So it was like, that shit really, it fucked me up. And it was just like, man, like that's, man, like it just got to that point to where I was just like, Joe, like if I ask that, it's because I'm trying to help. I be wanting to really like help and shit and do something, make a motherfucker life better, make your situation better than what it is. And it's like, if I can do it, let me do that shit. But if not, then it's like, damn, I just, you know, like I leave my phone on, bro. Like, at night, like motherfucker call me at any time, motherfucker call me, text me, anything. And if I don't answer right away, I'm a text, or you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna call you right when if I'm dead asleep, I'm gonna call you right when I wake up. But like I leave my phone by my face and shit like every night, because like I don't ever want it to be a point to where somebody called me or text me or something like that. They try to reach out, and I could have helped them at that point in time, but it was too late.
So I think, I mean, honestly, man, that just shows how big your heart is, and that's something that I can speak to in our friendship and just outside of everything like that is you show up, like you really, really show up for folk. And I think that like, and we were talking about outside too, is like, it's crazy that even exterior wise, we're like going through moments of like presenting hardened versions of ourselves, or like that version of yourself that you had to become to make it through certain periods in time. But to me, like that's like such a powerful, like that's a deep part of you, like that part of you that's, you know what I'm saying, reaching out to actually provide care or to look out or to be there for people. That's a big piece of who you are, and I want to commend you on that, and for not letting that like die out regardless of what's happened within your life circumstances. And I see it through your action, man. Like people, you know, blah 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 all day, but I see it through your actions, like since I've known you, you know, for real. Even for the day of how this whole conversation started. You was like, ain't nobody. It's just hilarious to me that I did send out a text message to several select gentlemen where I was like, hey, look, come box and talk about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll laugh, but you showed up, and that really does mean a lot. So let me ask, so I don't want to hold y'all up too much, but I have one more for you, which would be, what do you think the world needs more from men?
What do they need from us? Like,
you can take it as however you want to, open ended.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we gotta start just kind of. I don't know. I really don't know. Communication, if anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because we tend to really do shut down, you know, and not say a lot of shit. And I was one to kind of shut down back in the day, and I had to learn healthy ways of explaining myself and saying certain shit. The reason why I was a very quiet child. You know, I never really said too much, and the reason being because whenever I would say something, I would get chastised like every time. So it was just like I just was like, I'm gonna shut the fuck up because nobody want to listen. Or, you know, I can't talk because it's always a shut the fuck up afterwards. Or, ooh. And it just got to a point to when I got older and I could actually talk, I was like, fuck everybody. I'll say exactly what the fuck I feel. And I wish a motherfucker would tell me to shut the fuck up. Like, it's going to be war in this bitch. So, like, you know, it just got to that point. But then, like, I got to a point where I was just like, when I started doing that shit, I just was free. You know, life was free. I was free in life. Like, one shit held me back. The people around me changed because it wasn't motherfuckers around me that had the wrong idea. Like, you know, I think he feel like this, or I don't think he like this or whatever. Like, motherfuckers start actually talking to me, and I started saying how I really felt. And then I had a lot of toxic motherfuckers fall the fuck away from me, and all the healthy motherfuckers started showing up and shit. I'm like, you know, or people that actually don't man truth. Like, and it just like life changed for the better. Like, you know, so shit, I just used to, you know, like, it's just life changes for the better when communication is before, but like true communication and true communication that is not forced because you're around people that match your frequency, that match your you know, your vibe and what the fuck you on in your path and your journey and stuff like that. Like, get around some people you're supposed to be around and communicate well with them. Like, you know, if you do that, then the world will be a better place. You know, like,
that's real, man. That's deep. Yeah. Appreciate it, brother Will. Listen, man, you know, as always, much love, and just really appreciate you taking, you know, the time out, you know, to even have the convo, and just for all of the gems and just all of that life experience, man. Like, I feel like it's way too much to go into in one conversation, but I've just seen the different levels of wisdom that you bring into the world, man, and you know, it's great. And I appreciate that last one, even around communication too, because I'm still learning through that for my damn self, learning how to communicate my own feelings. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. And
appreciate you as well, brother.
For any of the How Men Cry listeners, you can always find out more at How Men Cry on IG or howmencry.com. And
come get these mitts, man. Y'all be scared. Be old lad talking about, you be militant, protect your. How many of y'all know how to box? And if you don't know how to box, get up in the mitts and learn how to box.
You know,
who know how to shoot? We at the range all the time.
I forgot to mention. Yeah, I also forgot to mention that too. Is that Will had me out there shooting the ATI Bulldog. I didn't tell you that my shoulder was sore for like 3 weeks after that.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I've never had a bruise in my entire. I just didn't know. You know, black folk just relate differently to bruising.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my shoulder was bruised up. It was crazy.
Right.
It was crazy. That joint had so much kickback.
Boom, I was like, oh my God, blew across the room. Give me my shit, man. But you shoot everybody else. What's wrong with you? My God, but come out, man. Get out, man. Stop. Y'all be internet activists, bro. Like,
nah, man. I think honestly that's a lot of why I'm just like, I'm over the conventional internet talking, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. I'm just like, ironically, we doing internet talking right
now.
Anyway,
At the end of the day, come outside. We outside.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Come on,
What Jay,
inside but outside. At the same time.
Jay say? He said, I ain't never scared. I'm everywhere. You ain't never there.
Right, exactly. Like,
But yeah, man, appreciate you again. And yeah, shout out to the Eat Well family as well. I'm about to have all y'all up here. So
Yeah, a long way from a stuttering kid. I didn't get enough.